NyynewsTV. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NyynewsTV, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 336 of the NyynewsTV podcast. We're live on NyynewsTV. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm with SGR.
What up?
And once again, sitting in with us of the designated spitters, Pete Simonetti. Pete, what's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing? All right, Chris is MIA tonight. He's doing all right, but he's still recovering from his yanking hand injury. So
He must do a lot of very, very strong yanking over there.
no, it's I'm right-handed and everything, but he's lefty and then righty with
okay.
So I don't know, maybe a little crossfire injury situation.
Crossfire hurricane, okay?
Okay, it's a hurricane.
Crossfire hurricane.
Okay,
Hurricane action.
okay, go ahead.
All right, so we're live here. It's Monday night. The Yankees are off tonight. They just had I'm going to call it this. They had an embarrassing homestand. They went 2-4 against the White Sox and the Red Sox. I'm not giving them the excuse that there was no Aaron Judge because they lost 3 of the 4 games they lost. They lost 3-2. So, I mean, we're going to start off with this. The Yankees need to find a way to no, actually, I don't want to start off with that. What I want to start off with is last night's game, okay? Because I was tired last night. I didn't really get into it on social media. I was busy today, so I didn't get into it. So I got some things to say, okay? Number one, when all you people tell me when you people tell me that we can't trade Gleyber Torres, last night is the thing I'm bringing, present your evidence, counselor. That's what I'm bringing to the table right there. This guy was flat out sleeping on the field, okay? That allowed the base runner to get to second base. The Yankees cannot score runs, okay? They're clinging to a 2-1 lead, a gift 2-1 lead because Trevino hits the second base bag, allows those 2 runs to score. The Yankees have a gift of these 2 runs. They can't score to save their life, okay? Now, Gleyber Torres is not paying attention, allows the runner to advance to second base, right? Okay. So that is case in point why we need to trade Gleyber Torres, right? Okay, so you combine that with also the fact that are the Yankees committing to him long term? I don't care what his WRC plus is, OPS plus is. Save it for another day. Okay, these are the reasons why you have to trade Gleyber Torres. Okay, so now obviously the friggin' run and Jesus Christ, why can't I speak? That run ends up scoring. Okay. But he actually asked Aaron Boone an important question in the postgame last night. Aaron, take on Gleyber Torres, allowing the runner to get into scoring position. And you know what Aaron Boone said? Well, we walked the next batter.
Yep.
Your response to your second baseman not paying attention to what the hell is happening on the field when your team can't score runs to save their life, that's your response. Well, we walked the next batter anyway. That is so inconsequential to what happened. Okay, because then you're subscribing, as Michael K. I'm going to steal Michael K.ism here. Then you're subscribing to the fallacy of the predetermined outcome. Do you know that you're definitely walking that next batter? If Gleyber Torres is paying attention and holds the runner at first base, do you definitely know that that batter is walking there? We don't know. We don't know what the outcome is. The fact of the matter is this guy had his head up his ass again, wasn't paying attention in a crucial point in the game, and allowed a runner to get into scoring position. So you, as the friggin' manager, your response should not be, well, we walked the next batter. Your response should be, I'm going to have a conversation with Gleyber Torres about what happened there. You don't have to get any stronger than that, okay? I don't even need you to yell or scream or or say anything derogatory towards Glaber. Just tell me you're going to talk to him about what happened, not give this guy a friggin' out that, oh, we walked the next batter.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll just chime in on that. I mean, this is the one of the biggest criticisms of Aaron Boone is that he holds nobody accountable. And you don't even have to always hold people accountable to the media and say, you know, what maybe, you know, some of us would like to say. Of course, we don't expect that. But he did it all year last year. That was one of my biggest beefs with him is I think the last game of the year was that game, if you guys remember, when Glaber struck out and the ball went all the way to the backstop and he never ran. And they just threw him out. And then Boone goes, he feels really bad about it. Like, this is it's like you're talking to a kindergarten. Hey, you know, little Billy doesn't like his hair pulled. Don't do it no more. Hey, Billy's mom, he feels very bad about it. We had a conversation. It's the same shit with Boone, and that's why people say everybody in this team is they just they lose a game and they go on a cupcake party, and that's the biggest criticism that I always have with this club is that it's like somebody right there in the chat just said is tired of the soft Yankees, and that's more and more of what you're seeing. And in a situation like this, like you brought up, with Judge being out, can't have that shit happening. You can't have nothing like that. You got to play your best baseball. Whether guys are stepping up or not, you got to at least keep your damn head in the game. Don't let that stuff happen. And that is the biggest criticism I think Yankee fans do have legitimately with Gleyber Torres is that he does it more than many people I remember, because I'll be honest with you, like he gets that Cano comparison a lot. I don't remember Cano doing it in the field as much as to running to first base. I don't really remember Cano doing that in the field.
I think it was more just how Cano looked in the field. He looked so nonchalant the way he played his second base.
He was so good.
Yeah, he was just a good second baseman. Now, do you think Boone is having those conversations with, you know, Torres in those moments behind closed doors?
I would sure as hell hope so,
yeah,
bro.
right.
And if he is, I got a question about how that team respects him.
Right.
Because if that's the case, it shouldn't continue to happen.
That's right.
Not even asking you, and I really think that in a situation like that, you have Volpe on the bench because he didn't come in the game at that point. You pull Gleyber Torres off the field at that point. I'm not even asking for that, even though I would appreciate it if you did that. But the first words out of your mouth are not to give this guy an excuse or a pass. Like, oh, we walked the next batter. Who cares? What does that have anything to do with the fact that your second baseman is not paying attention, potentially costing this team runs?
Well, it's like I was saying last year when we were making all the excuses. I said the scariest thing about this team making excuses is it's coming from leadership. It's not even coming from the players. And then you start hearing who doing it. Higgy starts making excuses. Severino starts making excuses. And that's what's going to happen. It's a trickle-down effect. And let's be real here. Glaber's done this forever.
Bro, you don't know this, Pete, that they lost the ALCS because of the win last year?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was the win. It was remember the Bregman. How did that ball 91 miles an hour off the bat get out to left field, but Judge's off the wall didn't get out? How did that happen? Oh, please. Make a better fucking pitch. How about that?
Exactly. And then, oh my God.
Oh, don't bring up Trevino.
No, I have to.
Okay. Oh,
I have
God,
to.
It is. Oh.
I have to. Pete, SGR, how many combined years of watching baseball are sitting here having a conversation right now? Conservatively, 120, 130 years combined that we've been sitting here watching baseball. I don't think I've ever seen a worst at bat. And this is taking into account Giancarlo Stanton in Game 4 of the ALDS against Craig Kimbrell. Okay, I'm considering that as well. I don't think I've seen a worst at bat in my life.
Yep,
bro. I saw it. I Bro, 2 of those pitches were projected to hit him. If you looked at the game cast,
I got it up right here.
They hit him if he doesn't swing the bat.
The third pitch is right in his arm.
Yeah, I said the other day, I never seen somebody swing at a ball that it's like he was one of those fucking samurais in the little where they're like, hey, I'm gonna throw a bullet at you, gotta chop it in half. The thing was coming right to his tit. And he was like, I'm going to try to foul it off into the dugout. For what reason exactly? Like, what exactly are you really... Like, somebody was like, he was probably going up to swing at anything to hit it. That's a horrible fucking idea. Like, why would that be your process? Oh, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to swing at everything, and I'm going to just try to get a run, and then we go home. It's insanity. That was maybe Christian at SGR. Maybe you guys remember this at bat. I kind of compared it to it a little bit, but this to me is still worse. Do you remember back in the day when Manny was going through a bunch of problems with the Red Sox, and they pinch hit him to face Mariano Rivera?
I remember.
And he took 3 strikes right down to Johnson and just walked back to the dugout.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, goodbye.
Damn.
That might be the closest thing I can remember to that at bat, but at least that at bat wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't like pathetic. This at bat was pathetic.
I want to give Trevino a pass because not for that, but like because I feel like, especially last year, and he had a walk-off hit this year, like he kind of rises to the occasion in those spots.
He does. He does.
Yeah, I think he was just definitely trying to make contact there, like Sim was saying, with the runner on third.
You're trying to do way
play.
too much, man.
Yeah.
Like, I understand it. All you gotta do is lift the fly ball, you get the run in, you tie the game. But my God, like, I don't even have words. Like, I'm dumbfounded that a professional baseball player did something like that.
I kind of think
situation.
it's, and I hate kind of throwing this on Trevino, and not even just about last night. I think it's the entire season overall. Is Jose Trevino? I mean, maybe you guys agree or disagree. I've been saying it a lot recently. He's a backup catcher. Jose Trevino's not a guy that's a starting catcher. And I'm sorry when, I'll keep banging this drum until he's up here. I don't understand the idea of Ben Rortvedt being in AAA. I just don't get it. One, he's exceptional defensively, and he could hit from the left side. The guy has an 1,000 OPS in AAA. He's hitting 340 in AAA. He's finally healthy. What is the real reasoning behind leaving this guy? And I'm not saying get rid of Trevino. You got him for multiple years. Higashioka is going to be a free agent. I mean, at the end of the day, trade him for a AAA arm and take the risk. If they feel it's a risk, take it. A lot of the Yankee fans didn't know the Yankee system well. Here's why it's not a risk, in my opinion. Let's say he comes up, Rortvedt gets hurt again. Well, you got Rodolfo Duran in AAA. You got Carlos Narvaez in AAA. You got Austin Wells in AA. It's not like the Yankees are short on catching.
And even if they don't hit those guys, you're not getting any production out of the catching spot anyway. So
bingo. And somebody today said, but they don't need. They shouldn't be looking. Well, guess what? When nobody else is hitting, yes, you do look at it. You have to look at it.
From Jose Trevino this year, right? Okay. 214 batting average, a 566 OPS, 57 OPS plus.
Average is 100, folks.
I'm starting to get into OPS plus. I don't like stats that make everything uniform, but I like that there's a there's a definitive league average in OPS plus, right? So
yes,
you know a
correct.
Number that you can look at.
Correct.
57.
It's miserable. It's. I know. I was actually talking about that the other day. It's terrible. I mean, his numbers this year he's not even an average offensive catcher. He's well below. And at least Higgy can hit for a little bit of pop every now and then, but neither one of these guys are getting it done for the Yankees.
And that saves Jose Trevino is how good Garrett Cole is with him, right? So
yeah.
Here's what I do if I'm running the Yankees. I say to Jose Trevino, listen, bro, I don't know what the fuck you were doing last night, but you've lost all your playing privileges, okay? We cannot start you 3 or 4 days a week. Go find out when Garrett Cole is pitching, sit next to him, and then get it behind the plate when he takes the mound. And then, Higgy, it's been nice knowing you. Ben Rortvedt, you're my new starting catcher.
Yeah. Hell, even if you just say, look, man, that's a new platoon. It's a new platoon. Ben, look, we want to see how you do against the righties first, and you perform, we'll get you in there more. But I just don't feel like one of these guys should be given the opportunity to play every day on this team. And even with Judge back, who the hell else is still stepping up even when Judge is back? It's usually Judge, and that's it. So I don't know why the Yankees are hesitant in this regard to say, we got all this other talent in the minor leagues at the catching position. Why are we sticking with these guys? It doesn't make sense to me.
Look, you can say whatever you want about Garrett Cole, but look, he likes throwing in Jose Trevino. Fine. I don't have a problem with that. But
I agree.
And it's not against Kyle Higashioka. I think Kyle Higashioka is a nice guy, and the Higgy bombs are cute, but he's a 4A player. That's what he is, with a terrible throwing arm.
What he is in reality, he's a Yankees got 2 backup catchers. I mean, that to me just really sums it up. And again, Red is 25 years old. It's not like we're talking about a guy who's been a journeyman and he's hot in AAA. It's not a Rob Brantley situation here. You know, this is a legitimate potential major league starting catcher. And he came up and he performed. That's the other crazy thing.
Right. And the thing that baffles my mind about them just letting Vet rot down in Scranton is that he was acquired to be the starting
bingo.
Or not, maybe not the starting catcher, but he was there. He was acquired to be on this team last year in platoon with Kyle Gashioka.
That's right.
And now you have a situation here where you need the offense. You're not getting anything out of these catchers. The best player in the world is on the IL. You need to find a spark somewhere. Maybe he can provide it. And even if he doesn't, okay, you're not. What are you losing by not starting Trevino 3 or 4 days a week? What are you losing by getting rid of Kyle Higashioka? Nothing.
Zero.
You're literally losing nothing.
And that's the point. It's not really a risk. You know, the way it's a risk is if you don't have anybody in that system and you're gonna have to go, scour through the waiver market to see who you can find as a catcher. They got a lot of them. They just got to take the move. And look, Hickey's been kind of a little bit hotter as of late. Now's a good time. Maybe you get a pen on for him. Maybe you get a couple of AAA relievers that are having a good year. I don't know. Maybe it's a team out there that, their catching situation is struggling and they go, you know what? Let's try this guy out. He's been doing better as of late. He's played in New York. Let's try this guy. I think there's somebody out there that'll say, we'll take him.
Trevino's played one more game than Higashioka. They had the same amount of home runs, 3. Hickey has more RBIs by 4. And Hickey is batting 229, and he's at 667 OPS and an 84 on the OPS plus. So, I mean, he's closer to being a league average player than Trevino. But I'm just saying that what would win Trevino in this battle of who you get rid of is the control and the fact that Garrett Cole throws really well to him. So, I mean, I know. If you're Garrett Cole, right? People, well, if you're Garrett Cole, you should be able to throw to anybody. Fine, great. But he likes throwing to this guy, so I don't want to mess with that. And notice how much better Garrett Cole's been since Trevino came off the IL and he's been throwing to him again. So I mean,
and that's all that counts at the end of the day. When you're Garrett Cole, you're allowed to make those decisions. So if Garrett Cole sits there and goes, "Look, just don't get rid of this guy," well, Higgy, sorry, adios, shipping you off to the Marlins. We'll see you tomorrow. Vet's going to be up. It literally, to me, it truly makes no sense whatsoever. I don't get it. I can't have somebody sit in front of me and go, Pete, here's the reason. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me on what the Yankees are thinking when it comes to the guys a couple of the guys in AAA that they just refuse to give a shot to. I don't understand it. And that to me is a glaring issue with this club. And it's every year. We talk about this stuff every year. There's guys in AAA that won't give a shot, but this year's a little different because you're talking about a kid like Peraza. You're talking about a guy like Rortvet. These are guys that were supposed to be on the club. And the Yankees are like, nah, it's okay. Let them marinate longer.
And even on a smaller level, right? Billy McKinney was the move for when Aaron Judge went on the IL. And he hasn't been. He's been okay. I don't have a problem with the way Billy McKinney's played. He's had a couple big hits. But my God, why did you bring Estevan Florial back into the organization? The guy's got 14 home runs this year.
He's doing fantastic.
I just don't get it. Like, why
the Yankees don't have an outfielder either. Like on the current roster right now, who they have playing, they really don't have somebody that you look at and go, well, that's a real natural outfielder. They don't even have it on the roster.
I guess McKinney would be.
McKinney's the only one. And he also was playing first base in AAA. Yeah. So it's like, if you look at who the best catcher would actually be, the best outfield they actually have, the best outfield they have is Florial. And it really isn't close. And, I guess the Yankees don't want to make that move maybe because they feel Bader is going to be back pretty quick.
I don't know, man. I don't know why you just don't give Florial a shot for 2-3 weeks while Judge is out and see what he is. I mean, he strikes out 50% of the time. You DFA him, you don't bring him back, you move on. At least we got our answer on it.
It's that simple.
So
it's that simple.
Unfortunately, we might have to be calling a realtor for Anthony Volpe. He might need to find a new home down in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I hate saying that, but have we reached the point now where Anthony Volpe needs to go down to Scranton for a little while?
It's getting there. I did a I did a little bit of a long breakdown on him today and just what he's doing overall. It's certainly getting to that moment where now you see more and more people talking about it. But I think what over his last 30 games or something like that, he's hitting 120, a 200 on base percentage. It might even be a little lower now than the last time I checked. But Anthony Volpe is not just struggling. I mean, he's non-existent at this point. And I keep saying I give him at least to maybe July, maybe the All-Star break. If he could get that number back to over 200 and you kind of see a little bit of progression, but this kid right now just looks absolutely lost up there. I mean, did anybody think he was going to get a hit last night when he came up? I was like, well, the game's over. Forget it.
And 186 with a 605 OPS and a 67 OPS plus. So, I mean, these are pretty ugly numbers here.
Horrible. 260 on base percentage. I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's rough. I mean, well, it's not bad when you look at the 186 on batting. I mean, what do you do here? And, you look at the numbers like he stole his first base the other day in like 3 weeks because he's just not getting on base. He was stuck on that 13 number, it seemed like, for a month.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. And like, here's my big problem with it. What are the Yankees doing to help him?
That's
Are
everybody's
they doing
question.
anything to help him?
That's everybody's question. Who knows at this point? That's why I brought up that every time a bad at bat happens, you see the guys looking at the fucking iPad. I just want to shove the iPad up their ass. I'm so sick of seeing his iPad. Is there somebody in that dugout? Like somebody said it on the voicemail this morning on All Rise. They said, Pete, like, is there like a phone that connects from Paul O'Neill to the dugout so he could get on the phone and be like, hey, here's what I'm seeing on Yes. I've been talking about it. Is there anybody there that's been helping this kid? Because to me, it's a mechanical thing.
Absolutely.
It's obvious he got the power. He got power. We know that. He got baseball IQ. We know all that. I still believe, I'll argue with anybody, the kid's a second baseman. He's not a shortstop. I think he'll be a phenomenal second baseman. At this point, here's the good thing for the Yankees, right? You swap him out, you're not swapping out for IKF. You swap him out for another top prospect in Peraza, who the majority of us thought he would be the starting catcher anyway. Mm-hmm. But how does that look on the organization? And on top of that, would they admit that maybe they were a little too pushy on this?
Well, but do you think they called him up to be productive right out of the gate, or did they call him up to develop at the major league level?
Oh, I think it's development, but this is no longer development.
Oh, right. This is bad. He's not hitting 220.
Okay. Exactly. That's different.
Right. So, yeah, it's more than just let's give him a year of development to see what his game is, because now, I mean, he's at the at-bat quota of someone that you've seen enough.
And look, it would have been amazing if he would have kept that ball fair on a Friday night, but all it would have done was mask the issue. That's all. It would have bought another couple of days of star rookie or whatever people are, and it would have been the same situation. Like, I don't think anything would have been fixed had he hit that home run on Friday night. And the reason why he didn't hit the home run on Friday night is because he's fucking flailing out of the box. So, he can't stay in.
Exactly.
If he stays in on the ball, he probably has a lot better chance of keeping that ball fair.
Yep. And that's the biggest problem right there. Is you're right, because I remember when I called it live, I was like, guys, you do know that if he's not stepping out the box that much, that's probably the ball game, because he has the hands, he got the quickness, he has all that he has all of that. It is literally just fixing that problem. Now, here's the other concern I had. I looked at some of his AAA footage. Doesn't seem too different. It does look like he's opening a little more at this level, but it's not too different. So my concern is that a lot of those scouting reports that even MLB.com put out, a lot of people that I spoke to, me and Dane talked to, they were telling us he struggles with good velocity, and he doesn't hit a slider well. And a lot of people we talked to both told us at the major league level, he's going to have to adjust unless it could be very bad. Yeah. And so far it's been pretty ugly.
We got a super chat from our boy Ra.
Hey,
Chime in on the Volpe situation here. He says the Volpe situation is unique because he skipped an entire level, and the Yankees are a huge proponent of making sure players conquer each level. They didn't do that with Volpe, and it backfired.
All right, so let's bring this point up here, right? Because the Yankees went into the spring training, said it's an open competition, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the best shortstop in camp?
Volpe.
Okay, it wasn't even close, really.
Not even close.
So what do you do then? Is there, if you can go back and change history, do you give the job to IKF for 3 or 4 months, 3 months until, Volpe gets, 100, 150 at bats in AAA? Do you can't, what are you going to do? Give it to Peraza, and then take it away from him? I mean, what do you do? Volpe went out, if you say it's an open competition and somebody is clearly better than everybody else in camp, I mean, the Yankees really didn't have a choice in this, if that was the case. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you can go back in time because nobody's going to want friggin' IK. What would have happened if Volpe had that spring and the Yankees are like, well, he's going to start the season in AAA. Maybe we'll see him in June. Maybe we'll see him in July. IKF's the shortstop till then. What would have happened? It would have been
wrong.
Oh, there would have been riots outside of friggin' Yankee Stadium.
So the way that I break that down is that I don't see anything wrong with sending him down. And I think that's the problem and the situation that the Yankees face. If they send him down and go, hey, look, there's some things mechanically that we feel like he needs to work on, and he's going to work on that at AAA. We hope he'll be back up, in a couple of weeks. Just leave it simply as that. We believe this kid has a bright future. Look, you're the Yankees. You can do whatever the hell you want. One, Aaron Boone answers everybody like a moron every single night, and he gets away with it. So sitting there simply saying, hey, look, the kid needed more. I think, first of all, I'll say this, just to answer what you said. I think the Yankees made the right choice by giving him the shortstop role. I think they made the right choice. Guess what? They don't always work. This one has not worked right now. The great thing for the Yankees is they got a kid that's hitting 308 or 310, whatever he's doing, in AAA that everybody believed is the best shortstop in the organization. Call him up eventually if it gets to that position. Announce why you're sending Volpe down and what he needs to work on. And then you expect that he's going to be a major part of the team down the line this year. That's simple, and then leave it alone. And if he hits 190 in AAA, you got nothing to worry about. He's just not.
I mean, you have a lot to worry about if he hits 190 in AAA.
Yeah, as an overall of a conversation of a bust, but not to the major league squad this year, especially if Peraza performs. It is what it is at that point.
Let's bring up a hypothetical. Well, let's say the Yankees are having a meeting right now, okay? And they come to the conclusion, we need to generate offense somehow. Peraza's tearing the cover off the ball. Volpe's just not getting the job done. You make the switch, right? Volpe goes down there. We check in on him a month. He's hitting 340, 5 or 6 bombs, stealing bases all over the place. But Peraza's up here doing what he's doing in AAA. How do you leaving Anthony Volpe in AAA for the rest of the year? Because how are you then going to pull Peraza back down, or where's Volpe coming up to play? This is what I talked about before. Is when, as an organization, the Yankees got to be a little gutsy and ballsy. If that's me in that situation, adios, Gleyber. Sorry. At the deadline, I know you've been one of the best hitters. I get it. I know it's a risk. If Anthony Volpe is a kid that we believe is part of our future, Peraza comes up here and stinging the ball. He's hitting, even if he's hitting 265, 270, and he's doing all of that, Anthony Volpe could come up and play second base for the Yankees. And I think he'll be one of the best second basemen in baseball. That I'll put that. I'll say that right now. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I think he's a kid that could hit 20 plus homers, hit 240, steal a shit ton of bags, and probably play the best defense you'll see at second base. He has great range, great baseball IQ. Put him at second base. And I would have no problem with I wouldn't look at that and go, damn, they traded Gleyber? We're done. I look at that as, well, they made a right move for now and the future. And who knows maybe they get a left fielder back. And now they're really set up to go on a run. That's what I would do. And I think that's the best case scenario if that happens. You're not going to get an argument from me if you're trading Gleyber Torres, but are the Yankees going to make that move? Are they going to sit there, and if that situation breaks out and Peraza's up here tearing the cover off the ball. Volpe seemingly fixes what is wrong with him. He's down there in AAA tearing the cover off the ball. Deserves the promotion, the re-promotion or whatever. He's going to stay in AAA, and the Yankees don't want that. This is a business move as much as it is as a baseball move.
100%.
The Yankees want. I keep saying this because I think it's true. The Yankees want him to be on the posters with Aaron Judge. You ever notice when you see, they're trying to sell tickets or whatever the hell they're trying to do? It's Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole, and it's whoever the hell was standing closest next to them is always in the middle. Where sometimes it's Stanton, sometimes it's friggin' Torres, sometimes it's Nestor. But they want Volpe to be the center guy. They want him. They want him to be Judge, Volpe, Cole. That's who they want to trot out. That's what they want. They don't want to admit that this kid might not be who they thought he was.
Of course, no doubt. He's that's why I call him. He's the golden child for the Yankees. They want him to be that star. The story is there. It is marketable. They make money off it. They know that. They don't have that way. They feel like they can't market Peraza the same way that Volpe can because he got the Derek Jeter story. So, it's always going to be that first. The Yankees are a business, like you said. Unfortunately, the fairy tale story isn't starting off the way that they've wanted it to. So organizations have to make tough decisions. Look what the Cardinals did with Walker. He's come up and he's been a different player. So, and he was in a 270 at this level.
Right. That was a little bit of surprise when I saw that.
And there was a couple of things apparently he said they want him to work on. He went down there and did it, and he's come up and he's been a better player. So I don't think it's like it's a thing that I would look at and go, well, Anthony Volpe's out of the Yankees plans. I'm just seeing it as he struggled. It didn't work the first time. Let him get his work and him move forward from there.
Is this something you might be more lenient or flexible with of like seeing how this plays out if the top of the lineup was able to produce? I mean, look at these numbers during the 6-game homestand. You had Rizzo go 0 for 19, Stanton go 1 for 14, LeMahieu 3 for 15, Donaldson 2 for 18. I mean, those guys not producing is magnifying the eyes on Volpe as this. That's the storyline, really, is what's Volpe going to do, because no one else is really stepping up and taking that spotlight away from him.
Correct.
I agree that's part of it. I mean, anytime that Aaron Judge is not in the lineup, you need to find anybody that's not producing. It's going to be magnified. So, I mean, okay. So what if Rizzo and Stan were hitting more like Rizzo and Stan? But even if Judge, let's say Judge was healthy and Judge was Judge and Stan was here, he is here, although for some reason he can't play on Sunday Night Baseball as the DH with a day off and the day off on Thursday, but he can't play last night, right? And Rizzo was, I don't think Rizzo's healthy. I think that's part of the problem too, in my honest opinion. Let's say these guys are hitting, LeMahieu's closer to being an actual baseball player instead of looking like he's friggin' washed, right? Is Volpe that bad that you would still be having this conversation? Yeah, I honestly believe you'd still be having this conversation if all these guys are hitting up to their potential and everybody was healthy. That's how bad he's been recently.
Yeah, and I actually I saw a couple of people throw up that Gunnar Henderson has also struggled in major league level. Not even comparable to Anthony Volpe though.
No.
Gunnar Henderson has an 804 OPS. The guy's hitting 236. He got some of the best, if you believe in this stuff, one of the best exit velocities, max exit velocities, hard hit percentage in all of baseball. Anthony Volpe has just shown that every now and then it pop a home run. Look, I love the kid. I say this all the time. But stats are stats and facts are facts. He has not been good. To say that and everybody looks like, oh my God, no. It's nothing to do with me hating him at all. The kid has not been good. He hasn't performed. There's no way of getting around these numbers.
He takes an offer tomorrow. His OPS is going to be under 600. I mean, he plays every day.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, dude, I want this story to come true. I want this to be the fairy tale the Yankees want it to be. Why wouldn't I? Of course I want it to be. But, it's just not working out right now. And, I don't know if the Yankees sent him down, if we found that out tomorrow, the Yankees sent him down, I'm not going to go on Twitter and be like, the Yankees are stupid. No, I'd be like, okay, it was probably time, to get him out of here, let him breathe a little bit and figure some stuff out. Now, my problem here, and I alluded to this earlier, is who's helping him, right? Okay, now, and I tweeted this, and I said, it doesn't matter if the game's on Yes, it doesn't matter if the game's on a national broadcast. Everybody that does color for the Yankee games, they say the same thing about Volpe. What is Dylan Lawson doing? Okay. And now people are telling me, oh, it's hard to make in season adjustments. Okay.
Oh, bullshit.
Well, if you're supposed to be the second coming of Derek Jeter, you can make an in season adjustment. Okay. That's number one. Okay. Also, oh, you can't blame the coach. I can absolutely blame the hitting coach in this situation, because maybe I would give less grief to Dylan Lawson if he would shut up and not expose himself as a loser, as he's done several times so far this year. And this was before Volpe sunk to 186. Well, he's hitting a professional 200. I'd be worried if it was reckless. You dumbass. Fucking 200 is 200. Like, you don't, there's no, you can't sit there and quantify, well, this guy's hitting 200, but it's not a bad 200. No, 200 is bad. It's terrible. Guys don't stay in the major leagues when they bat 200.
And this is exactly what happens. And it feeds into that the Yankees got rid of baseball people. No baseball person would ever utter those words out their mouth. That hitting a professional 190 or a professional 200, anybody in their right mind would go, bro, you must have, so you never played ball. No, actually, I haven't. Well, I would understand that. It's obvious you never played baseball. And the Yankees are bringing these guys in. And I just don't understand. I know for a fact, and again, I don't give a shit if it's ego or this or that. If I was a guy like Aaron Judge or so-and-so. Matter of fact, Aaron Judge also said they tried to fuck around with his batting. He was like, leave me alone. He said it on the thing with him and Mookie Betts. He was like, yeah, they wanted to mess with my swing. And I was like, no, I'm good. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
if I'm a guy like Aaron Judge and Dylan Lawson comes up to me and goes, hey, Aaron, you're 1 for 25. Here's what we got. I would look at him and go, when were you 1 for 25? Oh, you weren't? Okay. Thank you. I'll figure out. I've done it. I'll figure out a way to get out of it. And just touching on Volpe real quick, here's some really serious numbers. So against fastballs, he's hitting 246, which is not bad. That's all right. It's good compared to where his average is. Sliders, he's hitting 143. Changeups, 111. So again, the scouting report is true. He hasn't been able to adjust to the off-speed pitch in Major League Baseball.
Well, when you can't stay back, how are you going to hit off-speed?
Exactly. He almost swung the other day at an outside pitch and fell backwards. I've never seen that in my life. That's how much he's opening.
That's why like people want to get on Marcus Timms. Like when Marcus Timms was here, Marcus Timms knows what it takes to be a Major League Baseball player. Like he understands the mental grind of it. Like, and maybe he wasn't the greatest baseball player, but he put the uniform on. He played.
I was about to say, he at least played.
I don't get it, man. Like, I don't want to say that the Yankees' philosophy is totally bad, because I think, and this is my opinion, I think Matt Blake's done a hell of a job with this pitching staff. I mean,
yes.
And I want to give a lot of credit to Clark Schmidt, man. In his last 5 starts, he's been absolutely. Maybe phenomenal is too strong of a word, but in his last 5 starts, he's pitched 27 innings and he's allowed 7 earned runs. And he allowed 7 earned runs in his previous start to this run against the Rays. So I mean, he's definitely figured something out, and he's been a lot better.
I got a little longer breakdown on that on Clark Schmidt. His last 8 starts, 42 innings, 3.43 ERA, 38 Ks, 40 hits, 4 home runs allowed, a 1.24 WHIP over his last 8.
Yeah, I took it from that Tampa game when he got wrecked and he gave up 7 runs in 4 2/3. And since then, he's been really good. So, I mean, and that's, I gave him a lot of shit, and it rightfully so at the beginning of the year. But this is kind of something I always wanted to see it, because I always, be honest, I always liked his stuff and wanted to see what he would be. And if this is who he is, man, that's as a back end of the rotation guy. I mean, you can't really ask for more.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, his first 4 starts, he didn't go longer than 4 innings. Since then, he's done that twice, but the rest is at least 5 innings in all of his starts. So at least he's eating up some innings as well.
I think the Yankees may have, they might have hit on Matt Blake. I think he's done a pretty good job with this pitching staff. But Dylan Lawson, like, at least when Matt Blake talks, I don't sit there and go, dude, shut up. Like
Dylan Lawson looks like he should have been like 1930 sci-fi movies.
Hey, something about is I don't care about stats as long as we score enough runs. You're not scoring enough runs, and you are woefully underperforming as an offense. Like that is what they pay you for.
He might have the worst comments of the season so far. And it might not even be close. I mean, those two comments right there to me. And again, this is why people, I don't know, maybe I know if I'm paying these guys salaries, I'm sorry. If I hear that, I'm saying, hey man, pack your shit, get out. Who's the assistant? You're in. Until we find somebody else. Hey, Paul, what are you doing? Get down in, Mar. You want to be a hitting coach? I'm sorry. You're getting the fuck out. If that's your message to the people, that's your message to your team. Your team is hearing you say that. And there's a lot of young guys on this club. I mean, those words are just insane for somebody to sit there and say something like that when you're the New York Yankees.
You're putting the idea. Yeah, keep going.
Exactly. No, good. You're right.
You're putting that idea in their heads that, hey, if I hit 200, I could be a starting shortstop for the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
I'll
get paid.
I could stay on this team.
Eventually.
There's no consequence. There's just no consequence with the narrative that they keep pushing out there, and you're seeing the results of that.
Yeah, bats have been good. Like you can have a good approach at the plate and just not have the results, right? Because
how about Boone? He had Anthony Rizzo had a great batting practice. He looked great in BP.
Great, unreal, right? When they're lobbing it in there for you to hit the ball 400 feet. Which up until maybe like the last week or so, I thought that Volpe's at bats were still pretty good. He was just not getting the results because I like to see guys swing at pitches that they can hit, even if he's not getting the results. Swing at pitches that are in the zone that you know you can hit. Don't chase, work counts. And I thought he was doing that relatively well up until like the last week or so. Maybe the results weren't there. Even if that's how you feel, right? And that's a respectable reply. Listen, the results aren't there, but I like his approach at the plate. It'll come around. What's wrong with saying that? There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Zero. And that again, that goes back to one of my biggest problems that I have with this team. Because people say that, oh, P, what do you expect him to say? You don't got to trash a guy to be realistic. And that's the problem with this team is you do not have to trash a player to be realistic about the situation. It's going back to even last year. Remember in the postseason? Well, I think he's having great at-bats about Donaldson. Everybody's going, bro, he's striking out every AB. What are we doing over here? Like, just be honest about it. And guys, we got way over 200 people in here. I think are we even at 100 likes yet? If not, guys, do us a favor and smash that like button. 19 likes away.
That's what I wanted at the beginning of the show. Like, okay, you don't want to bury Gleyber Torres in front of the media. Fine. But the first words out of your mouth are not to give him a pass for what he did. The same thing with Dylan Lawson. Like, this is not what you say. Well, if it was a reckless what's a reckless 200? Like, he just, like, the pitcher throws the ball and he just fucking chucks the bat out. Is that reckless?
200's 200.
Yeah, I like his
way around it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Just say I like his approach. The results aren't there. We're working on it. We're trying to get him there. But I like his approach. There's nothing wrong in saying that. Because you're being a dismissive asshole when you say shit like that. Like, basically, what he's saying is, "Fuck you! What the hell do you know what you're talking about? What do you know what you're talking about, bro?"
Bingo.
Because that's just a dumb thing for somebody to be employed by the Yankees, who are in charge of the friggin' hitters, to be saying.
Yep.
And you're right, bro. If I'm Aaron Judge and you come up to me and be like, "Here, work on this," you know what I would say? Get the fuck out of my face, please. How many MVPs do you have? Because I have 2.
Yeah.
Because he should have 2.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. And again, it just goes back to accountability. The Yankees are terrified all of a sudden of accountability. They can't do wrong. They cannot be incorrect. They can't make a mistake. They're like, it's like their kryptonite. They refuse to admit it. Hey, we were wrong.
Hey, bro, and that's exactly why, as much as we're going to sit here and talk about Anthony Volpe getting sent down, it's not. I can't see it happening because they're not going to admit failure on him. This is not Aaron Hicks, dude, where you're just like waiting for them to cut the cord on him because who the hell cares? This is you changed the entire outlook of your franchise for this kid, and now you're going to send them down 3 months in and admit that this was not the right maneuver. I'll be stunned if how bad. What 150 is that the number? 150,
bro. I agree with you. I would actually be shocked if they send him down and say, hey, whatever reason, I would be absolutely shocked. I really would be. I would be
send them down just to get him away from Dylan Lawson. Just get away from him. Let Shelly Duncan teach him how to fucking hit.
We got a $49.99 super chat.
From
our boy Ra. Said this super chat is on behalf of my son. Oh, awesome. This super chat is on behalf of my son that will be born via C-section tomorrow. It's early, but it's all good.
Congratulations, bro.
I got my ticket for September and I can't wait to tip my guy Christian properly. Time to rest up. NYY News forever. That's awesome, Rob. Congrats, man.
You know what, bro? As a father of a C-section baby, when they tell you do not look over the curtain, don't look over the curtain.
Right.
They will show you the baby, and everything will be okay. But congratulations, man. That's awesome. We're happy to hear that on your.
Good stuff.
Rod knows Uncle Pete says hi to the good old baby. I know the name already, okay, but I don't know if he wants you to put it out. I want to jump. I don't want to be first on this. Okay. I don't want to have this first. Okay.
Sources.
Sources. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's round out the show here. Okay. So we've been talking about it. Aaron Judge is not in this lineup, right? Okay. So where's the offense coming from? Somebody's got to step up here. Where's it coming from? Okay. You can look up and down this lineup. The names are there. You look at these names and you're like, how could this team be averaging 2 or 3 runs a game in Aaron Judge's absence? Somebody's got to step up and take this team by the balls and say, hey, you know what? I know 99's the guy. He's our guy, but I'm going to fucking do it while he's out. And that guy's got to be Giancarlo Stanton. Okay. I was
gonna say him.
That's got to be the guy, dude, because when Aaron Judge broke his wrist in 2018, okay, who stepped up more than anybody? It was Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton put this team on his back when Judge was out with that broken wrist in 2018. Maybe he's not the same guy, 5 years of injuries or whatever, but nobody's got more potential to wreck pitching staffs on this ball club with Aaron Judge out than Giancarlo Stanton. And the only way he can do this if he plays every day. Giancarlo Stanton, what do you think is going to happen if honestly, is he going to break down and be on the IL for 60 days if he played last night? Then so be it, because it's going to happen anyway. Put this guy in the freaking lineup.
I mean, what else can you? Where else can you protect him? I mean, that's the craziest thing about it is he's a damn DH. The only other thing they can do is throw bubble wrap around him and say, hey man, you gotta get used to playing like this. I mean, that's the most protection you can have is by letting him DH and doing that. And I think you mentioned this maybe before we went live, but you're spot on, man. Aaron Judge is out. I'm sick and fucking tired of guys need rest. I go in that club, let's go, guys, look, here's the deal. Here's the starting 9. Prepare to play every damn day. Unless you got a serious problem, we'll keep you out. Other than that, you need to go out there and perform while the captain is out. You all know what he means. You got to be in a lineup playing. Enough is enough of this bullshit of picking it. Oh, it's the guy's off day. It's not the guy's off day. Can't have that.
This is what we talk about. Did somebody just walk behind you?
Yeah, it's my fiance.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I was seeing shit.
I thought you were talking to me, man. I'm like, I hope
somebody said it the other day, Pete, I think something just went behind you. I was like, oh, I didn't see anything. What was it? I just played along.
Look, what was I saying? Okay. Aaron Judge is out, right? This is what we talk about. Are the Yankees a serious ball club? No, because you rest Giancarlo Stanton on Sunday Night Baseball when the series is on the line and you're not generating offense as it is. And this guy is one of your best offensive players. Okay. You're resting him. Why? What is going to happen? Oh, he's going to pull another hamstring. Who cares? Let him pull it then. Let him do it.
Yeah. What the fuck does it matter?
What's
the difference?
What we're talking about is the Yankees a serious club? No, they're not serious. Anthony Rizzo's on the bench. Giancarlo Stanton's on the bench. Willie Calhoun. I can't believe I'm saying this. Willie Calhoun is on the bench. Willie Calhoun's been one of the best offensive players over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Stop rest. There's no rest days when Aaron Judge is hurt. There are no rest days.
Damn right.
Play these guys. And if they can't handle it, if they're hurt or what, if they get, so what? The season's screwed anyway without Aaron Judge. What the hell is the difference?
100%.
The team is only going to go as far as Aaron Judge takes them. So, I love Rizzo. I love Stan. If these guys go on the IL long term, you know what? it's not going to change the outlook of what I think the Yankees are going to be in 2023.
Yeah.
There's one guy that changes the outlook of what I think they will be. And this guy is currently on the IL. He's the best player in the friggin' world. So stop resting guys. I can't believe how the Yankees are just stuck in this. Oh, well, he needs a day off. No, he doesn't. Like, I have my problems with Gleyber Torres, but Gleyber Torres might be the Yankees' best offensive player right now with Aaron Judge out, right? Overall. Stop resting him. What is he, 26 years old? What does he need a break for?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I don't know. I think the best way to explain the Yankees is they become very complacent as a team. They're very accepting. Like right now, they probably look. See, I look at a standings, right? And I go, holy shit, we're 9.5 out. That sucks. The Yankees look at it and go, we're in the wild card. That's the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference of this club compared to a team that really wants to win. Is that they don't go, how do we catch the fucking Rays? They go, you know what? We're in a good spot. We could wait. We could wait until Judge is back. Carlos will be back soon. We're okay. They don't sit, and it's not panicking, folks. That's not panicking. It's called being smart. It's called wanting to win and every day making sure the best 26 men are on that roster. The Yankees don't give a shit. You want to know how I know? I watch every single game every day. That's how I know. That it's easy. They got guys performing in the minor leagues. They refuse to call them up year after year after year. They settle and settle and settle, and then hopefully they make a couple of moves, and they act like, okay, now we're ready to rock and roll. And if they lose, it's because we were hurt. That's the reason we lost. It's a great process. That's their process. It's a great If we lose, it was injury. That's all. We still got in, didn't we? We lost because of the injuries. And that's exactly what you know for a fact they will say this year. When they lose.
Here's their outfield. Their starting outfield yesterday, going left to right, was Jake Bowers, Billy McKinney, and Willie Calhoun. And their defensive substitution, defense, Pete, they brought this guy in for defense, was IKF.
Yeah.
I don't care that Judge and Bader are hurt. How am I supposed to take that seriously?
And another thing, too. What the fuck is Oswaldo Cabrera still doing in the major leagues? To me, it's just another guy that I'm just sitting there saying, what is his value to this club right now? You mean to tell me there's nobody out there that they could put in right now? And look, Greg Allen was that guy, and I understand that. And I like Greg Allen. He got hurt too. I mean, there's got to be other guys that fit the club better than what even a guy like Oswaldo Cabrera is doing right now. He's just not good. And the Yankees just continue to feel like, well, if we play him every other day, every now and then, he'll get a couple of hits. He's not. Just put the best guys on the team. And I really think if any of us here were able to have a couple of moves, for an example, like you turn on MLB The Show and he goes, guys, put your roster that you would do right now with the Yankees. Guarantee you nobody. And you don't got to make trades. Just do call-ups and figure out what the best roster would be. I guarantee you nobody would have that same damn roster. Nobody would.
Oh, no, my roster will look very different from the one the Yankees have out there right now.
And don't lefties mean something too?
That's what's been pissing me off for years, is how they keep trotting out righties. And that's another testament to this whole computer thing. The analytics factor taking over is that they're not seeing just that is the biggest advantage, arguably, in all of sports, their right field porch.
Damn right.
What previous Yankee great team didn't have a lefty in that lineup? None of them. They all featured
if the Yankees don't win a World Series with Aaron Judge, and I'm not going to say it's going to be Aaron Judge's fault, but if they don't win a World Series in Aaron Judge's career, I will take that to my grave, and I'll hate Brian Cashman forever.
How old is he going to be when Cashman's gone?
For not signing Bryce Harper.
What has Cashman got, 3 years after this?
Something like that, right? Yeah, I think
what would Judge be at that time? 34, 35?
Well, he's turning 30, right? He just turned 31. So, yeah.
So you better hope that Cashman gets his shit together at some point and goes, you know what? Maybe this analytics shit hasn't worked too well. I'm going to listen to the recommendations of maybe a Sabian or somebody, and we're going to put a different club on the field because as of right now, they're gun shy to do anything. This team is very scared to do anything. They're very scared to take risk. And that's another thing when it comes to Ben Rortvedt is like Ryan said, he's a lefty. He's a lefty platoon. You got a lefty and a righty. Why is he in the minor leagues? Why? Why is Estevan Florial, who is still 25 years old, also? I know he's not a godsend. I know he's not an all-star. But my God, the guy has an 1,000, almost an 1,100 OPS. You mean to tell me that's not warranted if I worked my ass off to get a shot? And if he doesn't work, like Christian said, bye. No more. You're not in the system at all no more. See you later. Best of luck somewhere else. Why is Peraza not up? Why do the Yankees sit there and go, hey, Josh Donaldson got 6 hits this year, 5 of them home runs. Cute. He's hitting 130. Who expects that to change? Nobody. Only the Yankees do. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. It makes you, as a fan, it makes you want to rip your hair out. Because you sit there watching. This is fucking insanity. But they just keep doing it.
Yeah, and that wasn't a joke, by the way. 6 hits, 5 of them home runs.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild.
The only thing I'll say about Josh Donaldson is he is a tremendous third baseman.
Great third baseman. I agree.
He made some nice plays.
He does. He's a very, very good third baseman. That is true.
I don't know how you would even make this make sense, but I wouldn't have a problem if he became like a defensive replacement late in games. Like for
I'm okay
third
with
base,
that.
but I don't know who's
I'm
going to
okay
start
with
at
that.
third base because DJ LeMahieu's been absolutely atrocious too.
Peraza. I mean, if that's the quick move, and look, at some point too, we gotta remember this too. The Yankees gotta get younger. I mean, they gotta really just say, is this crop of prospects actually gonna work? And you're just gonna have to play. You gotta take like you said, you want to win with Judge. Only friggin' chance the Yankees have to win with Judge, honestly, is that some of these young kids work out. If they don't, where are they turn into?
That's the if Volpe and Peraza, I guess, would be the 2 closest right now. If they don't turn out to be anything, the Yankees are it's just going to be a vicious cycle of these top prospects that just don't work out for them. And that's why, like, you look at Aaron Judge, like, okay, since 2016, who's made it out of all these guys that came through the system? He did. Why? Because it's him. It's him. There's nothing to do with anything the Yankees did. It's him. Aaron Judge would have been a friggin' superstar wherever he went. It so happened we got lucky enough that he did it here. He's doing it here. But it's nothing to do. The Yankees didn't make him a superstar. He made himself a superstar.
That's right. I mean, many of us thought he was done. When he had that 50% strikeout rate, I wasn't sitting there going, Aaron Judge is still going to be a superstar. People didn't even care about him. When Aaron Judge comes up, has a great year, and he worked out amazing. I mean, I feel like the Yankees, there's so many different, like, even if you look at this deadline and you go, well, what are they going to do? What can they do? I still feel like the system is the way to go because, one, Hal Steinbrenner doesn't want to go over that Cohen tax where, you start to pay for other owners who don't spend money. And that's what that penalty becomes, that you got to send them money. And it's ridiculous, but unless you got to overpay again, maybe for like a Bellinger, you got to start saying, okay, we'll give you 4 prospects instead of 2, and you got to cover most of his salary. And, that's not always the way to go about business, as you've seen the way it worked with Gallo. But they either got to just trust the young guys and go with it and see what happens and get rid of the dead wood. Get rid of all of it and just let him go. And maybe you do got to trade, like we talked about earlier, trade a piece that's been good for you, like a Gleyber Torres, to get something else that works. And hopefully Peraza and Volpe could handle it. You got to make tough moves when you want to win. Because right now it hasn't worked, and it's that simple. Whatever you're trying to do has not worked. You got to try something different.
Right. It's the Yankees have to try. They do. They need to get risky this year. They really do. And that's one of the biggest reasons I want Gleyber Torres traded is because I'm afraid that they're just going to ride the status quo out, and then he'll walk out the door. They'll get nothing for him. And it's like, you had all this stuff on the table where you could have gotten something for him. And you were holding back a guy that could have potentially been really good for you. And you won't trade him either. The Yankees have huge. We say this all the time. The Yankees have huge commitment issues. They don't commit to anything. That's why I would almost be. That's why, like I'm saying to myself, like I would almost be okay if they let Volpe hit 120. At least they committed to him for the whole friggin' year because they're so wishy washy on everything.
Yep.
Oh,
And Rodon
Pete's
is
mind.
Rodon. I was just going to bring this up too. I kind of, and I know, I think Derek, and while our recaps, he got a little bit of flack for this, but I agree with him. Even the other day when Willie Calhoun's leading off, why the hell is Willie Calhoun facing? Why is your leadoff man that night facing Carlos Rodon for? Why wouldn't you let Oswald Cabrera do that? He could bat lefty too if you wanted that type of matchup. Like, why are you doing that to your leadoff guy? Like, Willie Calhoun has been so damn good. It just feels like a dumbass backwards thing to do for an organization that's already injured. Like, you don't think about that? Like, hey, I know, maybe you want extra BP, but yeah, let's not get you in there against Carlos Rodon, who barely pitched this year. His velocity's back up to about 93, 96, and he has no command because he's just getting back on the mound. But let's let you bat. You're leading off tonight anyway. This doesn't fucking make sense to me.
I was saying you're modeling the Carlos Rodon mustache, and so
yeah,
Boone had said
nice.
that I believe it's going to be Thursday that Rodon's going to throw to hitters again, and then if he comes out of that, okay, he's going to start his rehab. So then the clock starts ticking because once you start a rehab, it's 30 days. You have until then you have to come back. So
mid-July, we're probably looking at for Rodon to come back.
Probably hold him out until after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, definitely. And he's a dog, man. They need him. I still, a lot of people give him, go at him now and, give me shit for saying to go get him. I love the damn guy, man. I really want him on the mound. I think the Yankees desperately need him. And I know people are going to, well, Peter's not pitching. Yeah, but when that postseason comes, you're going to want him. You're going to want him on your team. Even if he doesn't dominate the rest of the year, you're going to want him on that team, when the big games start to happen. But Brian Cashman and his whole team, they got to figure out this offense. And, they got to figure out it very, very soon. Luckily for them, they do got some guys they can call up. But again, they just seem like they refuse to do it. Mm-hmm. Ben Rortvedt to me is the most glaring guy. I mean, it's just so obvious in my opinion that I can't comprehend what is the reason why. It just doesn't add up for me.
Right, because we've been saying they can't make the tough move this year. They can't make any move because that's
None.
not really that tough
Zero
of a move. It's just that indecisiveness. It goes from 0 to 10. It's all situations they can't make up their mind.
Yep,
that's the problem. Is the Yankees they don't make the hard move and they don't make the obvious move either. So
That's where the Hicks getting released was nice. That did feel like they were taking a step in the right direction, but there was no buildup from that. It seemed like that was the start of maybe some new way of approach, but they're kind of reverting back to their old ways. It feels it's like that was just for show at this point.
This is what I talk about. They're so wishy-washy on everything. Mm-hmm. Like you feel like there's a new regime, maybe not a new regime, but a new like way of doing things. Like, okay, instead of would IKF at shortstop, we're giving the kid the job. It's his. Let him play right in spring training. And you're like, okay, I like that. Like this is not something we've seen out of the Yankees, right? After Aaron Judge got signed, nobody thought the Yankees were handing out another $100 million contract, but they went and they got Carlos Rodon. So okay, so now you're back in this is, you're backing all this stuff up. Never did I think that they were going to get rid of Aaron Hicks with 2.5 years left on the contract. They got rid of him, but then they still they don't go all the way. They just it's frustrating and
they're complacent. That's the only way I could see the front office is they're very complacent because they know right now that they can say, hey, we made a lot of moves. We brought back the guy that we brought back that we know we needed to. Injuries again affected us. And this is why we lost. This is the reason.
Brought up a great point. Like, you and I and SGR and a lot of Yankee fans are sitting here and looking at like we're 9 games out. Like, how do we make up that deficit? And the Yankees are sitting there like, fuck that. We're not making that up. We'll just be a wild card team this year. It's fine. There's not going to be other teams. There's not going to be 4 other teams better than us outside of the race. So we're fine. We're good. And that's what really annoyed. I know it was a COVID year and everything was all fucked up, but like that's what so pissed me off about 2020 is like The Yankees got to a number and they're like, well, we're good. We're not going to push it any further here. And that's what I feel like they're doing this year. Like, okay, Judge has been hurt twice. We're probably going to miss him for another couple of weeks here, but we'll be good enough to stay in it in a playoff race. When he comes back, then we'll lock up a wild card. The Rays, they'll win the division this year. So what's the number the Yankees will get to? Oh, we'll get to 92 and we'll shut it down. That's what they're going to do this year.
There you go. I mean, Patty Sinclair in the chat brings it up. Ezekiel Duran, 310 average, 869 OPS. But, there's a lot of these guys. He plays the outfield. He plays all over the infield. And we also do give credit, as Christian, you were doing. We always give credit to guys that Cashman finds, and they play well. And, he's been able to kind of do that dumpster diving. But here's the big thing about the whole dumpster diving situation is you're the Yankees. And that is, I think, another thing that we get frustrated with is that you are the New York Yankees. Do I want you to have that trait and have scouts that can find guys? Of course. But when a big guy becomes available, I need you to go out there and man up and go get him.
Right.
If that's the case, you got to be able to man up and get that guy. And we do see that year and year. Like for an example this year, let's just say, and I am told that there's a lot of good stuff that I've actually heard that the Yankees really would go after Juan Soto, for an example, when he's a free agent, that they will go after him. My thing is, what if he became available now? And they said, hey, give us these 4 top guys. I think the Yankees say no. And some people might agree with that. You have people that go, hey, Pete, I wouldn't do it because they could just sign him. But I want to fucking win now. And if you could give me a Soto Judge in a lineup, and if Soto comes in, it's 230. Let me tell you what he's going to do, though. He's going to have a 400 on base percentage or a 380 on base, like he does right now. 400. He's having a great year overall. But I need to see the Yankees just go for it.
On Soto with the short porch.
Something good comes available. Go.
Jesus.
I even like Bellinger. I know he's hurt, and knowing our luck, they'd get him and he'd be out for the year. But I mean, things like that, you got to take a look at it and you got to go for. Like Ryan said earlier, enough with the damn right-handed hitters. Get me some lefties in this lineup. Get some left. You got Rortvedt down there. That's one lefty. That's a catching platoon with Trevino. It's a great platoon. Great defensively, both guys. Rortvedt got a better arm than both of them combined. And he's not a slouch defensively. He's very good. He's well above average. And he can hit. Why is he not here? Why can't you figure out a way that you got outfield spots open? Is Dominguez going to be a guy you call up in August? I don't know. Or do you go out there and just make a trade? Anybody here comfortable with Clay Holmes closing a big game in October? Yep. I'm not. There's a lot of concerns. And the Yankees bullpen, don't get me wrong, they've been very, very good. They've been very good. Yeah. And I know we're going to get Hamilton back and all that, but we're the fucking Yankees, man. Stop playing this thing like we're the Rays or we're the Royals. Flex a little bit of muscle.
I agree 100%, man. That's the frustrating thing is that the Yankees would rather, Brian Cashman would rather show you how smart he is with the Willie Calhoun pickups than actually going out there and getting a guy that's, starting outfielder, a legitimate starting outfielder. So it's frustrating. The Yankees are going to hit Queens this week, 2 games set against the Mets starting on Tuesday night here. The first pitching matchup is who's lined up? Is it Cole lined up? No, it's Sevy and Sevy versus Scherzer on on Tuesday, and then Garrett Cole against Justin Verlander on Wednesday night. Now, knowing Met fans are really down on those two right now, and rightfully so because they pitch like shit and they're getting paid like a combined $85 million. On the Yankees' luck, especially without Judge, these guys are going to go out there and spin a couple of gems. But and I said this earlier, I think it was in our group chat, if the Yankees light up Verlander and Scherzer without Aaron Judge, somebody's getting fired over there.
Oh yeah. If this Yankee offense beats up those guys bad, somebody got to go at this point. I mean, that's terrible.
Not a good look. Not
at all.
What would be a real good look is if we saw you out at the Audi Club on September 23rd for Aaron Judge bobblehead night. But more importantly, it's NYY News TV Day 2023 Part 2. All right. Tickets
third
are
time's
still
a charm. We're gonna get a W. We're gonna get a victory. Okay,
Right,
third
good.
time's a charm. All right. Okay, no
At
more
least
losing
the-
streak. Okay.
So we're progressing because last year the Yankees got no hit on NYY News TV Day. At least they scored a couple of runs this past in April. So hopefully we'll get the win here. And I've seen the prototype of the bobblehead. It's beautiful. So you're definitely going to want to go out to Yankee Stadium for that. And head over to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at NYY News. What is it? I don't even
At
know.
NYY News TV.
At NYY News TV and then at NYYST_podcast. Okay.
Okay.
So so the Yanks and the Mets this week, Subway Series. You got some nice pitching matchups, but when Pete Alonso, that goofball, and Aaron Judge aren't in the lineup, it does take some of the sexiness away from it. But also kind of glad we don't have to hear Pete Alonso's better than Aaron Judge all week.
Please.
So.
Anybody even says that, you're a fucking moron. It's not even a comparison. It's not even close. I mean, Mets fans know that. They're not that stupid.
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody for their continued support of NYY News TV and NYYST. We want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 336 of the podcast. SGR.
Go Yanks.
Pete, say goodbye.
Peace.
Before it hits the front page.